Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Linda's Plants for You. Today we're going to talk about, actually before we get started, I wanted to thank the people who have subscribed, who have been my followers for a very long time. And I want to give a shout out to the people, the new people who have subscribed to my channel. It really makes me feel good to know that someone's watching and really enjoying what I'm putting out there, so thank you for that. So today we're going to talk about my ponytail palm, or palms I should say. And you know, I've told you guys many times I've gotten to the point where I call myself a misfit. And sometimes I think I should change my channel to that. And that is because very often when before I do a video, I will research, or try to anyway, whatever plants I'm going to be talking about, just to refresh my memory and my, update anything that needs updating, and so to make sure that I'm giving you guys the correct information and not relying on my memory, which is really pretty bad actually. But what happens is when I look it up, number one, no matter where I look it up, whether it's on YouTube or Google or whatever research I do, inevitably I get conflicting, information from different sources. So what I used to do before I was a YouTuber is I would, if I had, 5 sources telling me that a plant needs direct sun or next best thing to that, and I had 2 channels or 2 sources that were saying don't put it in that bright a light, then I would tend to go with the one that was, where there was more of that answer, the majority. But I have found over the years that that's not always the best thing to do, because a lot of times people are just repeating what they've heard somewhere else, and I mean, even in real life, that we know how that can culminate. So what try to do, and what I'm going to do again today, is just explain to you how I take care of my plants. And again, another reminder, my disclaimer in almost every video is this is what works for me. So keep that in mind. I'm not saying everybody should do this exactly how I do it, because it might not be the same, atmosphere, the same kind of water. There's so many different variables from house to house. So, all right, let's get started. The first thing that I want to show you here is my Rhipsallis. I've got several of them now, thanks to my friend Suzette from Suzette's Gardens. She is a good friend of mine, and she's just wonderful. I mean, 2 years in a row she has sent me a big box of plants that were otherwise probably very expensive, and plants that she had, and she sent me cuttings of them, and I so appreciated that. I appreciate it, period. And she told me the name of this plant I don't know how many times, and I kept forgetting, so today I made a tag. And this is, let me get this one out of the way. This is called, it's known by the name trailing or coral cactus, or Rhipsallis cirroscola, or cirroscola. Anyways, it's close. And I am working on learning how to put text into my videos. I'm working with a new editing system, so it's a new learning curve for me. I worked on it today actually for about 2 hours, and still couldn't figure it out, how to get it where I wanted it in the video. But I am working on that, and once I do, then I will spell these out for you guys, so you don't have to be frustrated if you want to buy one. Otherwise, as I always say, if you really need the name of it, put it in the comments and I will send that over to you that way. So I'm going to repot her today. She's really, she's so pretty. She even feels healthy. And she's getting new growth on her, little bits here and there. And I used to think that I wanted to have all of the Senecio string of whatevers trailing down in my windows, but I quickly came to realize that that was probably not going to work. I don't think it was a realistic plan for me, although I did see that later in another video. But he had, I mean, his whole house practically was windows, so, you know, there again, we can't always do what we want to do. So I give up on that idea. I've still got my string of pearls that are doing fantastic, and a small string of hearts that's not, it's just not wanting to grow for me. But, oh, and I have my string of dolphins too, and that is doing okay now. You'll be seeing that in a future video not too far out. But getting back to my Rhipsallis, I have really grown to love this family. And like I said, I've got, I think, three, maybe four of them now. One of them I ordered off the internet, and I think the other three I got from Suzette. But I'm going to repot this one today. We're going to put that in a bigger pot. I'm going to move this out of the way. And notice I'm putting it in a hanging pot right away. Now, normally I wouldn't go quite this big over the pot that it's in, but I'm so limited on hanging pots. And then finding the, I don't know if somebody gave me this like this, because I cannot find the bottom. There should be a bottom on here that twists on. And I love those because for hanging baskets, I hate it when the water drips out. And it's really a pain to have to carry those to the sink all the time to water them. So, anyways, I can't find the bottom of this. So I found a sour cream container that fits really nice over the hose. And I know some will be concerned about the fact that some of the water might seep past it. And yes, that is possible. But I'm an underwaterer, so the chances of me putting enough water in this pot that it would actually run down past there at this point are pretty slim. So I'm counting on that to be the case. And you know, I'll hang it up and then the water will just come flying through, and then all I can do is laugh at myself, right? But that's how I resolve that for now. And someday it'll be in a bigger pot, and maybe by then I'll have a better pot to put it in. But meantime, she's going in here. So let's do that. And as you all know, this is my trusty. I believe I got this at the Dollar Tree. Uh-oh. Maybe this isn't such a good idea. Oh, boy. The best laid plans, huh? See that root system on there? Now I know that this is typical of these plants, but I'm a little nervous now about whether or not I want to. I don't know if I don't think I want to put that in here. I don't have a choice. And I am going to reuse the soil because I just put that in the other pot not that long ago, so I'm going to put that in here. I'm going to use it. I'm just going to be very careful not to overwater, and I'm good at that. I used to be just the opposite. Those of you that have been following me, you know, I'm a chronic underwater as opposed to overwater. But I used to be just the other way around years ago, and that created lots of problems for me. So I just had to learn to discipline myself and pay attention to what I was doing, and I'm much better at it now than I used to be. Now I got lots of I have lots of perlite in here too, so the drainage should be fantastic. And like I said, I shouldn't really have to worry about the water draining through because I don't think I'll be adding enough to it. Let's try this. Actually, a little bit more. I think that'll be it. That'll do it. I just okay. I had to just run and get some water here. Okay, the granules that I just added are the bonide systemic granules, and I put these in there because it kills a lot of stuff. I know some people don't like the chemical method, but I had a couple of really horrific outbreaks of fungus gnats about a year ago, and I don't ever want to go through that again. So I have found that to work great, and it not only works on fungus gnats, but it works on a lot of other plant pests. So just a few sprinkles of that in the top into the soil. You water it in, and if you don't have any current pest problems, you don't have to do that again for a long time. So it's very minimal. One of the things that you have to be careful of, though, is when I like to feel my soil and touch my soil, and you know, it's a chemical, it's a poison, it's a systemic. So you don't want to get that in your mouth or whatever. So okay, there she is, and I think she's gonna look good in there. Let's get the watering can out of the way here and see if I can get the hanger. Okay. This is one of those really nice hangers, and I'll show you why in a second. I get these at Lowe's, and I think other stores might be carrying them now. I don't know. I don't get out anymore, so. But I love these because look, you can see how this turns. This little knobby thing right here allows you to turn the pot a little bit each day, or every couple days, however often you want to turn it. You know, where the traditional pots, they're solid up there, and you have two choices, backwards or forwards. So then your plant gets heavy on two sides and nothing on the other. So whoever invented that, my goodness, they deserve a raise. Okay, so she's done, and I am going to put the tag in there. And Susie, if you're watching, thank you so much for finding that name out for me, and I got her in the pot now, so if I forget, it's right here. Okay. All right. Let me get her out of the way. And let's tackle this beautiful little guy. Now, when I got this, it had the 4 in there, but they were tiny. And I bought it because, oh, there is 5. Oh, good. Good, good, good. I was going to share it with my girls, but I think my daughter has one and didn't like it or whatever. My granddaughter didn't like it at all. And that really surprised me. And I guess, you know, we all have our favorite plants and our likes and dislikes. I think this is a gorgeous plant. Personally, I think it's underrated. I mean, the cascading slender leaves, they're just, I don't know how anyone cannot like these. I smile every time I look at her, which is every morning. And like I said, I was going to split this up, but then my girl said, no thanks, Mom. No thanks, Grandma. I was like, oh, okay, well, all right, all the more for me then. And I think it's still in the original pot. Yeah, it is. How much did I pay for this? I know it wasn't a lot. $7.98. Now, where can you buy a plant that's this beautiful for $7.98? And yes, I know, it's not an anthurium, and it's not a philodendron, it's not an aroid, it's not, you know, it's not a lot of things. It is what it is, but it's beautiful in its own way. Kind of like, you know, dandelions, right? In some countries, dandelions are planted flowers. In ours, they're weeds. In fact, I gotta go down my side road on that one because that's a funny story, and it's true. When we first bought our home back in '85, we have a lot of land here, and they know this, you know. And I was getting a lot of calls from landscapers and people wanting to come and take care of our lawn. Yeah. And, you know, I honestly, I got so tired of answering the phone and so tired of them calling. So I said one day, I said, you know what? I said, I would love for you to come and get rid of our dandelions. I said, but my husband would divorce me. Well, why is that, ma'am? And I said, because it took him out months and months to plant all those. And the guy on the other line was dead silent. And I said, so you can understand my dilemma, right? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's back in the day when people were still polite to each other. But I had a laugh when I hung up because I know he believed me. Well, he believed that I believed it, whatever. And it was hilarious. I tell that story every now and then because I still can't get over that someone would believe that, but it's true. And actually, after not too long, I don't remember how long, I'm going to say maybe a month or so, during the summer months, after not too long, I stopped getting those calls. So it worked. And either that or they thought I was plumb crazy and didn't want to come near my house. Well, either way, I don't care, right? It worked. I got to put I got some pretty big drainage holes in this one. So I'm going to stick this inside here for now until I get my soil. And I think I'm going to put her right in here. And again, this is a little bit bigger than I would have gone. I would have preferred something in between. But I think she'll be okay because there's actually 5 plants in here. And I'm not going to pull them apart, I don't think. I'm going to wait and see. You can do this with me. I'll wait and see what we find, okay? I'm going to start by putting some fresh soil in the bottom. And again, this is just Fox Farm potting soil or potting mix. It's very good, lightweight, kind of peaty, but I like it. I really like it. I like the smell of it, and I like the feel of it. And then I add probably more perlite than the average Joe, but I'd rather have too much than not enough, because it doesn't hurt the plant. Alright, now let's take these out of here. Let's see if I can get them out of here. This has been something that needed doing for quite a while, but she wasn't making too much of a commotion for me, so I just thought, well, I want to take care of the ones that were really in trouble first. And I still have a few of those, folks. Okay. And again, I'm just another kitchen utensil. I think we all find our plant tools in the kitchen, or most of us do anyway. This is an old cake spatula, I think they call it. But it works really well. And because it's so thin and pliable, it just, it bends. And I've had this since I was 19 years old. And I'm going to be 67 in January. How about that? I wonder what y'all are thinking about that now. Okay, let's see. Drum roll. Is it coming? Yep, it's coming out. Come on. There it goes. Oh yeah. It was definitely time. Look at those rusts. So, pull you over a little bit here. A little closer, huh? I'm just gonna loosen up the soil a little bit around her. I was contemplating pulling these apart, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm gonna leave her just the way she is. I don't know. Let me think a second. It might stunt the growth if I do that here. Yeah, maybe I should pull these apart, because I can see the one in the middle here is really tiny. And I don't know if that was just stunted growth or if that's a new one coming up from one of these. But I can see how this one is kind of on an angle. It's pushing out. So maybe I better separate these and then just spread them out in the pot. Yeah, I think that's probably the best thing. Alright, I might have to stand up to do this. Oh boy. Okay. Yep. Hopefully I won't kick the camera like I've done in the past. Okay. Now, I'm going to pull on this a little bit. Oh, I don't know. Okay. Oh, you can hear the ruts. I'm going to take some of this soil off of here. See if I can get a better look at what's going on in the center here. Because what I don't want to do is cut off all the roots to the bulb. I'm not quite sure how they're how they're spread out down here in the soil. And I made the mistake of watering her yesterday just because she was so dry, and I wanted to do this repotting video 2 days ago, and I had other things that got in the way, but so I really had to give her a drink. Her tips were turning brown, and now I'm paying the price for that. If I hadn't watered her, the soil would be just crumbling off of here. But that feels like foam. That's not even perlite. Wow. Okay. Odd. Alright. Oh, hopefully you all are ready for the holidays, if you're going to have them. I know it's been a very, very much so hardship on so many people. And my heart goes out. The people that want to buy gifts and can't even afford to buy gifts for their kids because they lost their jobs or they're losing their businesses. Let's try and support small business, folks. I know there's a few places that are businesses of their own that are starting like a GoFundMe page for, and you got to be careful that you don't get scammed, but there are some out there, and I really give them credit because they're going through it too, but they're taking the time and the effort to do that, to hold these companies, businesses together to get them through this mess that we're in. And I feel so bad for them because they're just trying to take on, you know, they're trying so hard to hang on to things that have some of them taken a lifetime to build. And now we're at Christmas, and they probably haven't got money to buy their family gifts, and, you know, I know that's not the reason for the season, I get it, but traditionally if your child is used to receiving a gift at Christmas time, that would be very devastating for that child. So I feel bad about that. And, the other thing is that people aren't able to get together, and that's breaking my heart. I have a mom she's got all her faculties, and she's 87 years old, and she's been stuck in she lives in a really nice senior living place. I'm going to cut this, okay, because I don't want it to break. And they've pretty much been in lockdown in their apartments for this whole time. It's not been very good on anybody. My mom's doing okay, but there are people in that building that aren't. They're literally losing their mind, and I understand why, because they can't leave. Well, they can leave, but they have to be very careful where they're going, and then they have to quarantine. And it's just so. This is the first year that I will not be able to spend Christmas with my mom. And I don't know how many years we have left at 87 years old. So, yeah, it's a real sadness for me. But I try not to dwell on it, and she does too. We're going to get through it. We're going to get through it. And really, I think many of us are going to be better for it, not maybe better off, but for what we have gone through here, just to realize how good we had it for so many years and what could be. So, okay. enough about that. This is what I was worried about. It's sticking together right here, and I'm hoping these two bulbs are just being held together by roots and they're not connected in any way, because I am going to cut through that. Hopefully my trusty spatula will be sharp enough. I might have to get my knife. And notice I'm going straight down. There. Perfect. It's coming apart. It's working. They're not grown together, thank goodness. I waited way too long to do this. Now I gotta pay the price. Alright. Got nobody to blame but myself. Don't you hate that when that happens? Did you ever walk down the hallway and for whatever reason you lost your balance or whatever and bumped into the wall, or when you were turning a corner and you turn around and you look at the wall like it's the wall's fault? I've done that more times than I can count, actually. Or you trip over the rug and you turn around and look at the rug like the like the rug did it to you on purpose. Oh yeah. We do some crazy things, don't we? There, she's coming out real nice now. Good. Oh, that's a relief. Okay. 3 more to go. See how tiny that one is? We gotta get her out of there. Now, is she a pup? I don't know. Ooh. Almost. No, I don't think so. But a root was starting to grow in her. Okay. Alright, we did it, we did it. And I gotta tell you, I did not do this any too soon because I don't like the way these roots feel. Some of them don't feel viable anymore. But I'm not going to sit here and pick through the good and the bad. There's not that many. Most of them are, I'm sure if I rinse this underwater, most of them would still be white and healthy. So I don't even need to pull these apart, really. I just have to figure out where I'm going to put them now. I think that little guy needs to go back in the middle. And while I don't care for things to be symmetrical, I like them asymmetrical. There is a symmetry to it. I like odd numbers too. My favorite number is 7. I like to group things in groups of 3s or 5s. Well, what I'm not happy though is this one is so much bigger than the rest of these. So I may have to rethink this. I may have to put her in the middle. I think I will. I will put this one on the side. I think that'll be much better. Yep. That's going to have to be the way it goes. And I'll just have to make sure this plant gets the most light so I can grow, catch up to the rest of them. Alright. Now we have to get some soil in there. so sorry. I hope I didn't knock you off. Yeah, you can still see. I hit you with my scooper. All right, we I'm really struggling here. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get around all these beautiful fronds. I mean, leaves. And it's just... Okay. We're going to put one in first. And then we're going to put some soil in there. Jeez, this guy has to get way down in there. There. Here we go. You know, I'm going to add a little water right now because it will make this much easier process. It'll help hold the plant up a little bit. Okay. And well, I'll tell you, this pot was not any too big. I was a little worried because of the size of pot that it came out of, but I probably could have even went bigger. But that's all right. Okay, that's one. Oh, that's much easier. Two. And make sure I get those roots down in there. Don't want to leave them out in the air to dry out. Okay. That's 3. And this little guy right here is 4. Perfect. Very good. Okay. Now we will add a little more soil. Cover up those roots that are on top there. The care for this plant for me, I've had it in a east window, but close to the floor, so it doesn't even get the full morning sun until it gets to be later in the morning. So a couple hours of morning sun in the east window, and a little indirect light from the south window in my dining room. Not much light. Oh, and I'm sorry, the light from the lamps that I have above it. Those are LED 100 watt equivalents, so equivalent to what a normal 100 watt bulb would be. And I get those at Walmart, like 6 in a package. I forget how much they are, $7, $8. And you can get them for 6 if they're on sale. Yeah, they work fine. And I do know that some plants do benefit from actual grow lights. And some plants actually need grow lights or sunlight. But very few. Most plants can live under artificial light. Okay. Well, that was a little challenging. A little more work than as I was getting ready to do this video, and I wanted to do that Rhipsallis, and then I wanted to do this, and I thought, I should probably grab a couple more that I am planning on doing, because this isn't going to take more than 5 or 10 minutes. Little did I know. I should know better by now, huh? Everything I do takes... Nothing I do takes 4 or 5 minutes. But that's alright. Those of you that want to continue to watch will, and those of you that don't will tune out. That's the beauty of YouTube. We get to pick and choose what we want to watch and not watch, and for how long. Okay. I think I don't want to get too much soil in here. I don't want to run the risk of rot, but I'm really glad I did that. I'm so glad I pulled that apart, and I'm equally as glad that I used this big pot, because there's not a lot of room to spare in here, my friends. As this grows, I'm probably going to have to repot her again in the very near future, but that's okay. I love repotting plants. Alright. I think we got the little bit of dead stuff off of there. Alright. There. And watering, you have to be careful with these, because you saw those bulbs. Those are little, like, tuber bulbs. They hold water, and they rot easily. So if you overwater this plant, there is no coming back from it. I mean, I can't say it's 100%. If you catch it in time, maybe, but not very likely. Better to underwater, because underwatering just creates some brown tips, and if you get those, you know, you can always cut those off. Where's the end of this one? Oh, okay. All right, well, that'll be it on this one. I'm going to put a little of my bonite in there, and not too much, just a little sprinkle. And we got rid of those pesky fungus gnats. I don't want them to come back. Kind of mix it down in there a little bit, just so it doesn't go airborne. Okay. I'm going to give her a good drink. Even though I did water her, I didn't give her a good soaking last time. I just put in enough to keep her from going into shock and getting brown leaves until I could get to repotting her. So this is distilled water, although I don't always use distilled water in her. I have used my my well water, but those of you that know me, you know that I I have problems with that water, so. But she's hardy. She doesn't, you know, she really doesn't respond badly when I use the faucet water, so. I try not to use the faucet water right after we kicked in the softener, you know, within that next couple of days, because that's when the highest concentration of salt is in there. And I don't know of any plant that likes that, so that we have to be careful with. But other than that, you know, just normal watering, give her a good soak, and then let her dry out. She has to dry out. If you try to keep this plant evenly moist, or even somewhat moist, it's going to rot. I guarantee it. So let it dry out really well in between waterings. Like I said, better to be, you know, air on the side of underwater, and you'll know you're underwatering because your tips are going to start getting brown. And just cut them off and start over. Don't overwater her. And medium light, whatever that means. Like I said, I just told you where I had mine, and you kind of have to take it from there. But other than that, she's feeding. I feed her when I feed my other plants. I use the Jack's, used to be called Peter's, and it's called Jack's, the 20-20-20. It's a balanced fertilizer. It is synthetic, but I've been using it for many years, and I've never had a problem with it, and all of my plants like it. I do dilute it by half to like 1/4. So if it's a teaspoon, I use a 1/4 teaspoon to a half, depending on the plant. But, alright folks, it's our dinner time, and we gotta get it going at that. And I will be back with more videos. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like it. Share it, you know, if you have a Facebook page, go ahead and share it on there if you want to. It would help my channel. Okay. Alright, my friends. Thank you again so much for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye now.